just to get started, everyone knows what literacy is, right? I mean, we all have a fairly standard definition of literacy. In the UK, we used to call literacy and numeracy the 3 R's. Reading, writing, and arithmetic, which shows just how literate we are, I guess. And for decades and decades, that's been a kind of measuring point, if you like, of people's ability to do things. Could they read? Could they write? Could they do their sums? Since technology's come into the equation, I think that the idea of literacy has been expanded quite a lot. So what I'm going to look at is digital literacy itself, and then think about what it means to teachers a little bit. So, does anybody want to give me a definition of digital literacy? What do you think it would include?
What do you say to operate a computer?
Operating computers, understanding
technology.
Understanding technology.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Understanding technology and programs well enough to be able to intuitively figure out new programs and hardware for yourself.
That intuitively is really important, I think, of being able to take the knowledge you have from one, like you can use Word, so when you use another piece of software, some of it's familiar in terms of where the menus are, that kind of stuff. Anything else anybody wants to add? Okay, well, when I was preparing this talk, I went along to Wikipedia, because obviously that's the source of all knowledge these days. And everything in it is brilliant and accurate, as you well know. And this quote at the top is from Wikipedia. It says that digital literacy is the ability to understand and use information in multiple formats. You don't need to take notes. I'm going to make this available later so you can download it when you get home. From a wide range of sources when it's presented via computers. The only problem I have with that is the word computers, really. Is that it seems to be very limiting, because for example, I've got one of these things, which gives me access to the internet and all sorts of stuff, but it's not really a computer. The second definition, which I really, really like for a couple of reasons, says that digital literacy is the ability to locate, organise, understand, evaluate and create information using digital technology. The reason I like that is because of all the verbs. It strikes me as a much more active thing. There's a lot going on, people are doing things. And the second bit, which I realise, is digitally literate people can communicate and work more efficiently, especially with those who possess the same knowledge and skills. And that sounds to me like language learning, or language speaking, or language knowledge. If we speak the same language, we can accomplish things more quickly and more efficiently. And we talk of EFL and ESL and all these things. And computer people speak of DSL, digital, as a second language. The third question, we've had what is digital literacy and are you digitally literate? The third question is why is it important? And this really goes back to the nouns and verbs thing, probably. And I think it's important for many reasons, because the big thing is that shit happens. It's like a Mexican wave of laughter. Recently in many countries, Spain's a great example. I've lived in Spain for 21 years. It's gone from an agrarian kind of economy through tourism to what everyone would now call a knowledge economy. There's more money in knowledge and facts and things and technology than there is in any other sphere. And many, many countries are going in that direction. So having the ability to work in those kinds of economies is actually quite important to lots of people. And there's a lot of money in them. So we've changed significantly in the way our societies work, I guess. The technology's changed too. This is the early Google from the mid-80s. I know, it's incredible to think about it, isn't it? You fill in a query, stick a stamp on, you posted it off to them. Within 30 days you get a reply with some information. And you compare that, this is only 25 years ago, compare that to Google now. So split second, you've got all that information.
Is it real?
No, it's not real, I invented it. No, that's a good question actually. No, this is not real, of course it's not real. This never happened. That never happened. It never happened, but when I first got connected to the internet in 1996, it cost me over $20 an hour. And the screen loaded like that. really slowly from the top. And I have no friends. I've still got no friends, but that's a separate issue. No one to talk to, really small community. There were 250,000 websites when I first got connected. They were all grey, mostly grey. Now there are millions and millions and millions of them. And this access to information is amazing. You know how quick it is. There are 80 million web pages talking about Australia. There's also, one of the big shifts in mobility. This is a mobile computer from the 80s, one from the 90s, and one from today. But we can now carry around. Has anyone not got a mobile phone? Just out of interest. No, everyone's got a mobile. Anyone got 2 mobile phones? Yeah, 2, 3. Anybody got 3? I met someone with 3 mobile phones recently. They had very well developed toes. But this connects to the internet. The average mobile phone that connects to the net these days has more computing power than the first 3 NASA space missions combined. And they got up to, they got up to the moon and back. Absolutely. And one of the things we do with these things, of course, is we make people turn them off all the time, when they're the most amazing source of information. Fantastic thing. But the mobility aspect is a huge one. We can get access to information wherever we go now if we have the right. We don't have to be tied down to a computer. We can have a mobile phone or an iPad or all sorts of, a tablet, computer, all these things. Wherever we go, there's this access, and that's changing the face of access to information and increasing the education. The big question is, and that's probably why we're here today, is what does this mean for teachers? And I think one of the biggest worries most teachers have with technology is that it's going to change my methodology and my pedagogical approach. I'm going to have to relearn everything. I'm going to have to start from the beginning again and replan all my lessons. And I don't think that's the case. And during the day, I think we'll probably see good examples of that. Carl in a second is going to do a session on videos. I do quite a few activities. This is an activity based on an interesting use of images. You see, these are all images from my life. Before I became an English teacher. And this is an interesting use of technology, because obviously those images are not real. I made them on a website called PhotoFunia, where you upload a photo of yourself and you can put yourself in various contexts. But this doesn't change my teaching. This is just a piece of teaching material made using technology. It's an interesting piece of teaching material because it features me in very unlikely places, like on the front of Angelina Jolie's t-shirt, which is pretty unlikely. But there's a lot of creative work you can do with technology that doesn't take people out of their comfort zone. It doesn't change the methodologies. This is classic teaching job. I'm brainstorming. Tell me what happened to me before I became a teacher. We're brainstorming. And then we're doing the same thing. Perhaps a creative writing exercise or an interview exercise or whatever. But the methodology doesn't change. However, the interest in the materials changes. I think that's huge. So I want to finish up with a video because Carl's doing video in a minute. And this is my favourite ELT video ever. Ever. And what I'd like to do is just enjoy it, because I think it is pretty enjoyable, and think about what you might do with it in class. And let's see if this one plays. It's unlikely, but... Oh, look at that, doesn't it? It's almost a perfect ELT video. There's one flaw.